Hey guys, so I just spent about say 2.5 hours of my life with Verizon, both today and yesterday. So I am going to explain what happened. A few months ago, Lewis got some fraudulent charges on his credit card. So he decided, let's just close down that credit card, let's have a new credit card instead. All his auto pay for that one credit card, he thought he set it up to his new credit card. However, that didn't happen. What slipped through the cracks was the Verizon files at the apartment. So yesterday we are on the computer and he tells me, he says, Erica, let's watch a documentary today, or today, which was yesterday, at 8 p.m. It's a date. And I said, okay. 7 o'clock hits around and the internet disconnects. He says, he blames Oreo. He says, oh, Oreo must have knocked it down. And I tell him, I say, Oreo's on the bed. You really think he's going to knock over the router? And then he realizes, hey, wait a second. The internet has been disconnected. So he looks at his email, which is his personal email address. He finds out they've been emailing him, but because he has so many emails, I mean, he receives so many, like over 100 emails a day, sometimes like 300 emails a day. It's ridiculous. He didn't see the notification, and so they disconnected the service yesterday. I I call up Verizon within 30 minutes of it being disconnected, and I tell them, hey, we didn't get any notification. I've been checking the mail. We didn't receive anything. We can immediately pay this thing in full. Can you turn back on the files? They let me know, no, the account is closed. You have to set up a new files. You have to set up a new account. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my goodness. So we have to go through the whole system again. So I call them up and we're just talking to this person, going through the system. They say, okay, I'm gonna transfer you to the credit check, and from there everything will be okay. They transfer me to credit check comes out approved, and then they say, we're gonna have to connect you with someone else. Well, the call center closed by that time. So when they connected me with that someone else, it immediately dropped because that call center was closed. It absolutely sucked. We went through without any Wi-Fi yesterday. We had to use our phone data. And I remember thinking, oh, frick, I'm gonna just use my mobile data. Don't worry, I'll get it working today. So, I call back today. I speak to a person and I give them our reference number. He says he has no idea what that is. And I said, what do you mean? And he says, well, didn't you talk to a person after you finished the credit check? And I said, yeah, but I got disconnected because your call center was closed. It causes kind of like, oh crap. But he manages to pull it up. And while we're going through, the whole shebang, basically, he tells me, he needs authorization from Lewis. I understand that, right? But the problem is that Lewis's phone was off. And here I am texting Lewis, before he left home, I told him, I said, make sure you answer the call because I need Verizon to have this thing working again. So Verizon's calling him up. He doesn't answer the phone. I call him up. It doesn't answer the phone. And then I call up Sunny, and I don't even think I sound very happy because I'm like, I've been waiting on the phone, waiting for this phone call for about 1.5 hours from Verizon. You know how the call centers is, right? Even if they open up at, let's say, 8 o'clock, you expect everybody else is going to be like, okay, I got to call in at 8 o'clock. I got to wait. So I, Lewis answers his phone and he apologized. He had his phone on silent, but I'm so happy that he answered the phone. And then he gives verbal off to the person who is working for Verizon, right? So the guy from Verizon asks me, because he sees Lewis's email, right? He says, oh, so what kind of business does he do? And he says, and I say, oh, it's a computer repair business. And then he's like, oh, and then it gets down to he has this conversation about MacBooks, and I'm like, oh crap. Oh crap. talking to me about MacBook cable changes, and I'm like, ah, gosh. See, this Verizon technician, he actually worked on two computer repair books. Yeah, so he co-authored it. And I was thinking to myself, of all the people he could talk to about computer repair, he's talking to me instead instead of Lewis. Because if he talked to Lewis about this stuff, Lewis could definitely tell him about all the cables and all the changes about screens and parts and you know crappy Apple practices, but he's just talking to me, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I feel like a grenade. And this, it's humorous, but I really have to say sometimes when I'm next to Lewis, I feel like an absolute grenade because there are some people who are just, how would I describe it? They look so forward to talking to him that when they see me, they're like, oh crap, it's just Erica. Or I see people when they see me, they look at me with like wide eyes because they know I'm like that little sign that Lewis is nearby. It's very strange, but it's how would I describe it? It's kind of like if you are in a club, right? Let's say a club with a person, and your friend is hot, and you're not the attractive one, so you feel kind of like the grenade. Yeah. Hold on. Hold on. Yeah, Lewis is asking me about this grenade thing. So that's how it is. That kind of comes with the territory, and it's something that I've seen a lot. Yeah. I've had it where there are moments like people will meet Lewis, right? And they're gonna be all starry-eyed. And I understand it. I understand that they're starry-eyed. They're really excited to see him. And then let's say Lewis walks away for a bit because he needs to do something. And then they talk to me, and you could just tell their demeanor changes. They're like, oh crap, it's Erica. I don't want to talk to Erica. I want to only talk to Lewis, and that's it. But that's how it is. And no, it's just it's like just being the uh like like there's Lewis's level, and then I'm over here, so I'm just kind of like that flag or that flagpole, just telling everybody like, hey, Lewis is nearby. And then when they see him, they're like, oh yeah, okay, whatever, Erica, I just want to talk to him. And then when he goes away, they're like, oh damn it, we just got Erica left. I get it, I get it, I get it. So this person, he this yeah this Verizon technician, right? He was telling me about how he dabbled into computer repair, but he doesn't do that anymore. And it sounds like he can't really have his own computer business since he works for Verizon. That's what it kind of sounded like to me, but I wasn't too sure if it's because of a time issue or if it's because of a conflict of sorts. Who knows? But yeah, there was a lot of BS that was going on with that call. It took way too long. I asked them specifically. I said, I want to have, okay, hold up, hold up. You guys are gonna get the Clinton shroom really quick. Damn it, the cats are the other way. I know, I know. Okay, let's go this way. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, you guys get to see Clinton. So what happened is that I told them, I said, I want to receive paper bills. I do not want paperless billing. Can you guys send a paper bill? Because in the event that we have to close down the credit card due to credit card fraud issues, we don't get automatically terminated and I don't have to spend all this time. They say that they only do paperless billing. And I'm like, wait, what? And I said, you guys only do paperless billing? And they told me that they do text message only, but for the files, they do not do paper bill. So Verizon Wireless allows you to do paper bill, which is what I have. for the Verizon bill for a family. But for files, absolutely only paperless statements. And I asked them about that. I said, well, isn't it important for people, let's say if they change their auto pay method, or let's say their credit card declines for whatever reason, isn't it good to send them a paper notification in the mail letting them know, hey, you guys gotta pay your bill or we're gonna disconnect it? They said if you have internet, you can check your email. So that's why Verizon Files does not do paper bills, or they do not do paper notifications. They do text message notifications. However, for the account that was previously on file, it did not have that check mark to receive text mark notifications. So all the disconnect notices went over to his personal email, which has a huge backlog of emails. That's why he didn't see it. Yeah. You know what? You guys can say all this whole thing about saving trees. It is no joke to have this kind of stuff happen and then spend 2-3 hours of your life just waiting for this stuff. And now I think if you want to receive paperless bill, but you should also have it put in somewhere that, hey, in the event that you terminate or you're going to disconnect, have paper bills. For me, all my bills that I have are all paper. I insist on having paper because that way, when I look at the mail, it forces me to look over that credit card statement. I have to think about the bigger picture here, because the way I work is out of sight, out of mind. If I do not see that credit card bill, I will not check that credit card bill. There's just so much emails that are coming through to my email addresses. I just am not going to check that stuff. So I like having that paper bill, because when I check that mail, I see a bill from, let's say, Discover card or Visa card. I know, hey, open it up, check it, scrutinize it, see if it's a fraudulent charge or not. So that's why I like having it. So it sucks, and yeah, it sucks, but that's how Verizon Files works. So I talked to Verizon, and they say, hey, your equipment is old for the router. We can give you a new one. I tell them I don't want a new one. I just want to use the current one. I don't want to go to the Verizon store. Let me just keep the old equipment. After they set everything up, I find out that according to their rigid system, there is no way that they can circumvent the system and say, customer is keeping old equipment, please disregard request to pick up new equipment. So I need to return that equipment and pick up the old equipment by early November. Either that, or we're going to get charged for the old equipment. Yeah, so I have to swap it out. The person that I was speaking to, Verizon, was telling me, something about making sure the open mesh works. And I'm like, what? What's open mesh? And yeah, he was trying to tell me about it, and it's something about internet. I don't know. It just kind of bamboozled me when he was talking to me about open mesh, and I'm thinking like, okay, this is something Lewis set up. This is something I definitely didn't set up. So that needs to be done. It's just a pain in the ass. It really is a pain in the ass. I wish it was simply as, okay, we disconnected your internet. Don't worry, we'll give you 3 days to make it right after we disconnect it. We won't just terminate the account. But that's exactly what happened. Everything had to be started from scratch. The equipment, the old equipment that we had from the termination has to be returned. I have to pick up new equipment. We need to set it up, and it's just a complete pain. So it sucks. It sucks. They don't does my credit card have an app that shows you later? You know what? I don't check credit card apps. I mean, the thing is that I got so many apps going around. I got like about 5 different apps that I regularly check. I do not want to do credit card apps as well. I rather just receive the paper bill in the mail. I go pick up the mail, I see bill, I open bill, I look at it, looks okay, shred it. If it doesn't look okay, call them up. That's always been my system. It's a pretty old school system, but here's my thinking. My argument is that it's really important to have paper bill, because if you do not have paper bill, you might be forced to spend 2-3 hours of your life trying to sort through all these shenanigans. And then it's like, well, how come you didn't check your email? You have internet, go check your email. It's yeah. I mean, I don't like paperless billing at all. I absolutely don't like it. It causes more headaches in case something happens and I don't track it. And I'm that kind of person. I'm not checking credit cards all the time, so if I don't catch something, well, it's easy for something to happen. So it's very important for me to have paper bills. Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's kind of surprising, right? We have files. You see sometimes the internet connection that we have in the apartment, especially around like the kitchen area, it turns into like Lego quality. Very, very strange. No, we use a Verizon router. It's free. It was free, and I think we're gonna get a tri antenna of sorts. Right now we have a dual one, but they said we're gonna get a three antenna trio. I don't know what the name of it is. They don't charge anything for using the router. But the person I was speaking to Verizon, they told me they said they really should charge for it. In Hawaii, if you use Spectrum or Oceanic Cable, which was what it was affectionately known as, Spectrum charges you, I think, like 7.99 a month or something, like 6.99 or 7.99 a month. It scares me to think how much hundreds of dollars we spent on that stupid, crappy router or before I moved on to something else. So I think in Hawaii I have a Nighthawk, something like that. Yeah. It's the really cool looking one. So I have three little antennas on there. I didn't know what to get, so I bought one off Amazon and I was like, oh, okay, well, if a lot of gamers or whatever tech people like this stuff, I'll buy it too. And yeah, that one's a really good one. I like it a lot. And then I used yeah, I think I have no, that's my router. Oh my goodness. See, I'm like pretty bad about that one. Yeah, Netgear Nighthawk. I have that one and then I have this I think no, I have like a well, one of them. I have a I have like a Motorola something that I bought. So I like that. I've been telling my neighbor, my one of my next door neighbors in Hawaii. She is such a nice person, so sweet. I haven't I spoke to her about it like 2 years ago. I said, "Hey, you should go ahead and buy your own, so that way you don't have to pay the 6.99 fee." And maybe I should really set that up for her when I come back to Hawaii. I'm planning to come back to Hawaii in Thanksgiving, during Thanksgiving. I found out that see, I wanted to go to Hawaii originally around April or May to visit back family, but due to the situation that was going on, I could not. I didn't want to travel. It's not safe to really travel. I found out Hawaii was doing a 2-week quarantine, so if you go to Hawaii, you have to stay you have to stay indoors for 2 weeks, and then they do a COVID that whoops, I shouldn't have said that. They do a test for you. And allegedly, if you have any reports of you leaving that apartment for 2 weeks, then guess what? They can arrest you. So they don't play. And I remember thinking, crap, if I go to Hawaii and I get quarantined for 2 weeks, right? And then I come back to New York and then I get quarantined for another 2 weeks? Yikes. Yikes. So I just did not go back to Hawaii at all. I'm planning to go back in November. I heard that if I want to go back to Hawaii and avoid a lot of this stuff, I just need to take a test. One of my family members told me that they had to go get um, a medical procedure done, a minor one, and one of the stipulations is that you need to get a COVID. Oh, you need to get a test, and they told me they said, Erica, I'm not gonna get a test, and I said, well, why not? And they said, well, because the cotton swab is gonna hit your brain, and I said, what do you mean it's gonna hit your brain? I don't think it hits up your brain. And they said, I don't want that thing hitting my brain. So so they said they're gonna wait because it's just a preventative thing. It's not a emergency or anything like that. But they said they're gonna wait until like 6 months to see if things get a little better so they can avoid the brain poking test. Despite me saying it is not poking your brain. It's if you poke your brain, you'll probably die. In my opinion. I mean, it goes up there, but I don't think it goes all the way up there, right? It probably goes deep into your nasal cavity. And that's it. So, um, yeah, I need to get that done when I visit Hawaii. There's really no way around it from what I'm hearing about it. And, yeah, so I will let you guys know when I get the test done how it is. I don't think it's gonna, poke my squishy brain at all. I think if anything, I might end up with like a little bit of nosebleed, but that's it. I mean, yeah, there's people who got the test done, right? And as far as I know, I haven't seen anyone die from brain damage or brain poking. And you have people who are driving through those test centers. You know what I'm talking about? They go in their car and they drive up, and then you got the people who look like they're in the biohazard suit, just like that of sorts, and then it's done in like 2 seconds, and that's it. So I think I'll be okay. I also heard the test is kind of expensive. I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard it's like $200. Yeah, crazy. Just to poke your brain. Just kidding. I know my family members probably gonna watch this stream and be like, "Oh my gosh, Erica! Oh my goodness, you're making fun of me." I'm just not making fun of them. I am just poking fun at them. Okay? Yeah. Not making fun, I'm just poking fun at them. But yeah, this family member, yeah, it's just I was like, there's nothing to be scared about. It's just like big cotton swab. Just stick it up there and boom. I think it'll be okay. We will see. I will not be happy though if anything happens. Wow, really? 4K? What? What? Was this recently or was this a while back? Because I know people are flying, and I know for a fact they are not paying 4K on top of their airfare for that at all. Oh, good, good. So Mega has been testing negative. Very good, very good. I hope you stay safe, Mega. And I hope Chris's girlfriend stays safe too. Everybody, you guys, everybody just stay safe, okay? I mean, I don't want anybody getting sick. I know these kind of times are not the greatest. Where we, I don't know if you guys heard, but I think it was either De Blasio or Cuomo. They're thinking about, if I remember correctly, like shutting down a good number of businesses in certain zip codes. One of those zip codes is where Lewis and I live, and I'm not too happy about that because I have already let you guys know that I see less and less food available for these people. So I just kind of think, shutting down the restaurants perhaps again, or, closing off businesses where people might lose their job or get furloughed, that kind of thing. It's just going to cause more food insecurity, and it worries me a lot. You guys have not been seeing a lot of my food rescue videos anymore. One of the reasons is that I'm not finding too much in Manhattan. I kind of, like, I would spend time looking for stuff, but I've been kind of coming up basically empty. I don't find nearly as much stuff as I used to find before. Even the spots that I used to go to, it's like either half full, or you got other people looking through it, or they've gone there before me, and it's come to a point where I just think, okay, this is kind of like a waste. It kind of is a waste for a lot of times. I had a schedule down exactly what places I was going to hit up around what times, what dates. I find out that a lot of the stuff, it's either not there anymore, they changed up the schedule, or when I do see things, it's significantly less. There is a person on YouTube. His name is Angry Prepper. I do watch him. He was saying that there is more food insecurity, more need for food that's going on in New York. I can completely agree with that. I've seen it with my own eyes. There's more people who are diving for stuff, and it's not simply because they're going to community fridges. There are new divers who are probably just taking stuff for their family. And I also see aggressive, kind of aggressive territorial divers too, where I shared with you that situation. I went over. There's three big dumpsters. I go to one. This one guy who I've never seen before wants the whole freaking dumpster to himself. He gets kind of aggressive when people are is looking through the same dumpster he is. And this is, dumpsters are not small little things. They are big things. So, I just said, like, you know what, it's kind of not worth it. I still check things out, but it's definitely slim pickings, and I kind of worry about it. If there are less things at the dumpsters and I know they're not donating this stuff, then that tells me either there's a food shortage, they're ordering less food, or people are buying more. But I highly doubt people are buying more because the places that I'm going to are not, how would I say this? This is not expensive places. So I know some of the stuff that they were throwing out before is just, very highly, high turnover items. And if they're not getting rid of it, that most likely indicates to me that there's just less ordering, and that kind of sucks. Yeah. So I really do feel for people who are food insecure. I think it's only going to get worse. You heard what I've been saying about the food distribution lines. I volunteer for that. And I've been seeing progressively that the lines are getting longer and longer. There's also less food than before. There is still food, but it's less than before for sure. I've seen like really kind of skimpy stuff. I mean, I shouldn't say it that way, but there is not. It's not as bountiful as it is. I don't know if it's just because it's not in the summer season anymore, and we're heading into fall winter. That's the reason why. But it just sucks. It sucks. And then when you have people waiting in these lines for this stuff, right? You also have people who say, oh, I want to get this stuff, but I see the line is long, and then they don't want to wait in line. Or you have also people who complain about the selection. And I think to myself, how can you go ahead and complain about the selection of stuff when it's free? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, this stuff is not like someone bought this stuff. This is stuff donated from Trader Joe's, from supermarkets, whatever those stores have available, and they're donating it. That's what it is. It's you cannot really tell Trader Joe's, hey, yeah, so this person in line wants more better quality stuff. They want more variety of stuff, or more quantity of stuff. That's not how this stuff works. So that kind of agitates me a little. Yeah, let me read a little. Yeah, so I'm finding more goods and less food. If I'm looking for stuff and I can't really find food, to bring over or to rescue, I just think like, okay, I'm just gonna continue with my little flower hobby. And that's actually what's been happening. I'm already there, so I figure, okay, well, let me just make do with what I'm there for, right? If I can't really find that much stuff, okay, let me just go and add to my hobby. Ooh. So Paul asks me, what are some good vegetarian options at Taco Bell? It's a little too soon, Paul, to ask me this because they got rid of a lot of my favorite menu items. um, they did. Um, I would want to say triple layer nachos, but they got rid of that. Just a little. I want to say spicy potato taco, but they got rid of that one too. I would say maybe the black bean crunch wrap. Black bean crunch wrap supreme, or black bean crunch wrap. That's really good. I like that. Yeah. So what happens is that a lot of stores in New York, a lot of grocery stores, they throw out a lot of stuff. You guys, if you look on Instagram, you'll see a whole bunch of this stuff where at the end of the day, they will throw away, yogurts, prepackaged sandwiches, pastries, what else will they throw away? Like snacks, things that if the packaging is damaged, let's say if you have a box of cookies, right? And let's say the box of cookies gets dented, they're just going to throw away the box. They're going to throw away the whole thing because they don't want to sell any items with a dent in them. Even if the cardboard box is dented, that's what I'm saying. They're just going to toss it. So what I was doing is that I would be going to these grocery stores, and the way New York is typically is these places will put all their stuff in trash bags and put it out on the sidewalk. And then you just look through the trash bags, and you guys can see some of my streams where I'm just opening these trash bags, and some of them's just full of cereal. So it's just they grabbed all the cereal boxes, they put all the cereal boxes into a trash bag and just tied it up and put it on the street. That is the ideal stuff that I look for. It's just the item itself. There's no crap inside of it, and it's clean. But there are other places where they have these like mega dumpsters where they're supermarkets, and they just kind of throw everything in a mishmash thing. Those I'm a lot more wary of looking through, because you can expect to see things like vegetable peels in there. You can see things like rotting vegetables. It's not the best thing, but yeah. So those kind of things, like normally I won't grab anything from that. There are a lot of community fridges in New York. People who restock those fridges, normally they are rescuing food from there. So it's not it's going through these bags, grabbing stuff out and putting into the community fridge. It's not just okay, someone is buying this stuff, or there are stores who are dropping things off as well. So since I know that there's less food being thrown away, I see it, and I also know that places like Trader Joe's have turned away city harvest trucks because they say like, oh, we don't have that much food to give away today. Even if the truck is there, okay? Even if the truck is pulled up, I did a stream on it. The driver said like, yeah, Trader Joe's said that they didn't have much food to give away, and then the truck would just move away. I don't know if it's because city harvest requires something, so even if it's below the 100-pound minimum, they're just not going to pick up at all. But I would think like if you are visiting that store, let's say if they only had like 30 pounds, you might as well just pick up the 30 pounds rather than pick up nothing, right? So that's my take on it. I kind of, I'm kind of curious to see what happens to New York in terms of food resources. I'm kind of worried. Even like earlier this week, I was kind of alarmed because we do a lot of our orders, and I've said this before. Now I've been recently ordering stuff like off Amazon Fresh, and I know some people would say, "Oh, Erica, why don't you just shop at your local grocery stores?" Okay, Amazon Fresh is actually cheaper than going to the grocery store. Yeah, so even after paying the $5 tip or so for our groceries, we save about 11 bucks versus me going out to the grocery store, seeing that they only have like a few Gardein stuff, and then, I can easily wipe out the shelves, or the shelves are already kind of wiped out by the time I get there. I rather just have it delivered to us. Amazon Fresh, a lot of the items that I ordered, let's see, 2 weeks ago is out of stock. I don't know if it's a coincidence. I don't know if it was just a timing issue, but it kind of alarmed me because I was saying like, holy crap, this is out of stock, this is out of stock, this is out of stock, this is out of stock. Yeah. So with Angry Prepper doing that video, he just released it today talking about this food crisis and food shortage. I do believe that something is going on. Something is going on. I don't think that people are necessarily just prepping for the sake of prepping, but there is some kind of supply chain issue. That's at least what I think is going on. There's either less being delivered to the store, so they're ordering less, or people are buying up more, but I really think it's the first. I don't think it's the latter. So I would highly recommend you guys, if you can, just stock up, a little bit on rice, a little bit on food, because what I learned in April, and I shared it with you guys on this, in the event that there is a food shortage, or in the event that there is a crisis situation, especially in New York, there is no way I'm going to be able to beat that line. I don't know if I showed you guys the footage in what happened around April, but there was one point the line was so freaking long going to Trader Joe's, you had to wait about 2 hours to get into the store. And if you have to wait 2 hours to get into the store, imagine the selection that you have at Trader Joe's. It's like abysmal. One time I went over to Trader Joe's. I know I definitely did a video on this. This was the cauliflower rice incident. All I could basically get was like sliced smoked salmon, and that was expensive. That was like 13, 14 bucks for sliced smoked salmon and some chips, and of course my cauliflower rice, which I got hollered at for taking in an open box. And I think that was it. Like I maybe I grabbed some salsa, but it was just like slim pickings, and it was one of those situations that distinctively remember. Like I never want to be in a situation where I need to go to the grocery store, and if I do not go to a grocery store for 1 week, then we'll go hungry. Like I absolutely don't want that. So it's important to stock up. Not saying, go out to the supermarket right now and buy 120 pounds of rice. But I do believe strongly in stocking up slowly. It's something for preppers. What they do is that maybe they'll do an extra case of, I don't know, like maybe like if they go to a grocery store and they want to have water, they'll buy like an extra gallon of water and just store it. That kind of stuff. Like that to me is much better than saying like, "Oh crap, disaster happened. Now I got to clean up I got to clear out the shelves. I got to buy all the toilet paper that I can." Yeah, by then it's too late. And I don't want to get into a fight with someone over toilet paper at all. Yeah. I don't know. I've heard about stores or farmers just kind of destroying crops, or cows not getting milked, or things going to waste because it's a distribution issue. Like they don't have people buying the stuff that they were expecting to. Like farmers, for instance, right? People who are in public school, if they have like meals over there, the farmer would always like set aside, okay, we're going to set aside this amount of carrots for that school. And then if the school's not open, right, what happens to those carrots when they have to harvest it? If they can't sell it, or if they can't make money back from it, they're just going to let it rot in the fields. So I think that there will always be situations that people do try to panic buy and they do stock up. The most important thing is to be ahead of the curve. So for one example is in Hawaii. In Hawaii, if we have what am I calls it, like storm warning, or earthquake warning, or tsunami warning, that kind of thing, you got people going over to their local foodland or Don Quixote. Oh, these are chains in Hawaii. You got people going over there and saying like, "Oh, I gotta buy all my bottled water. I gotta go buy a lot of stuff," and then they buy this stuff and they have to wait in a long line. I wonder, why didn't you buy this stuff earlier? If you bought this stuff earlier, just have like a reserve of sorts. Let's say 24 little bottled waters or something sitting around, and just kind of swap it out year round, right? Or just donate it, right? Like if at the end of the year, if you don't need the water, just donate the old water and then just buy the new water, or 6 months, or however much you want to rotate stock. Like that is a much better thing to do than last minute going over to the supermarket and buying the bottled water. Yeah. Oh, hi, Stasu. Staisu? Yeah. Hurricane season. Yes, hurricane season. Yeah. I really think it's important to prep. If you have it's better to kind of like amass a slow supply of stuff, rather than, okay, yeah, hurricane's coming up, now I gotta buy this. If you spread it out and say, okay, well, hurricane system's coming up maybe in like 5 months, okay, for the next 2 weeks, I'll buy an extra, pack of toilet paper, right? That way you're consistently making sure your supply is a little better by better by better. And you can look at it and say, okay, well, I have probably like a month's supply of toilet paper. Should I add more? I don't know. Or you can even just wait till it goes on sale, right? If toilet paper is on sale once a month, that's usually what happened in Hawaii. Like I noticed the sales rotate every 4 weeks or so. And then you could just say, okay, 4 weeks, I'm gonna buy like five packs of toilet paper or wait, It depends if you have a car or not. It's so much easier to do that. And even if you buy like a whole mountain full of toilet paper on off season, like no one's maybe you'll get a look or two, but that's about it. I would recommend splitting stuff up. I wouldn't be one of those people who buy like 10 gallons of water at a time. It'd be better buying like 1 gallon, 2 gallons at a time, something like that. Rather than looking like, okay, I something's gonna happen tomorrow and I need to stock up right now. You're not gonna beat people once people get notification about an incoming hurricane. That's what I learned in New York. There are just so much congestion of people. Yeah, but I don't even want to try this rat race. I'm gonna lose, absolutely, or I'm gonna be one of those those people who have to stand outside of Trader Joe's for 2 hours, be like, oh, I wonder if I still have food inside of there besides chips and salsa and overpriced salmon. So yeah, that's it's very important. Yeah, do it in advance. If you have storage space, then do it in advance, and just it's like out of sight, out of mind. You work at it and just think, okay, what do I need? Do I need lantern? Do I need candle? Do I need bandages? Buy it and then just kind of forget about it. That way, if the hurricane hits in, you're like, okay, well, I still got my little arsenal. That's one of the things like I never really understood. See, for us, we live in a studio, so we really don't have that much space at all. That's why one of the reasons why it looks kind of cluttered. Like I have no storage space. I have no real room to put a lot of this stuff in. It gets like super crowded super fast. Um, but but for those people who have like a big house with, let's say, acres of land, or a big basement, or 5 bedrooms. If I lived in a place where they had multiple bedrooms, like 3 bedrooms, I would use 1 bedroom for sure for stocking up in case hits the fan. For sure. I would do that. I would have the racks lined up, the what do you call it? Those utility racks. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like the grocery store ones, or the ones that people have at Costco, those kind of racks. I forgot what you're talking about. Those. Yeah, I would go out of my way and just make sure like I got all this toilet paper, and after I get the toilet paper, I have all my bottled water, and then I have all my canned goods, and then have all this and this and this and this. And I would work progressively at that thing. It wouldn't look like I would be stocking up on stuff, but I would work on this and make this like a mini project. Look at it and say, okay, wait, I don't have any matches with me, or I don't have any fire starter. Oh, I should probably buy some. Oh, okay, I don't look like I have any, let's say, rain boots in case hits the fan. Let me get some rain boots. Oh, I don't think I have a tent. Oh, let me buy a tent. Yeah. So it's like one of those things, like very slowly work at it, and then if anything happens, power goes out, don't worry, we got lanterns. Yeah. I really want to work it. I really would be curious about owning a generator one day. I know that sounds crazy, but like a generator. Like one of those Honda generators, and see how that is. But you would have to keep that outdoor. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I forgot what those Honda generators, but those look nice. And then of course, having a charcoal grill out there, maybe one of those campfire stoves, water filter, collecting rainwater barrels. You guys get what I'm saying? Like in case happens, like you have a lot of the stuff and you can bunker down. That's what I'm getting at. Like, yeah, it'll just be a, oh, yep. Oh, actually, I would have to, if I don't have electricity, then I can't do that. So I'd have to get one of those like plungers in the 5 gallon bucket and work it that way. But you see, like it'd be like all those like little things you work at, and then you're thinking, okay, well, just to see if this works, shut off all the electricity for 1 week and see how that is, right? If I can live and eat without using any electricity for 1 week, then I know my system is good. But if I fail at it, then that tells me I need to work more at it. Yeah. So it's all those little, I don't want to say like little drills, but little practice runs. Because if it hits the roof, I don't want to be like, oh wait, I've never turned on a campfire stove before. So yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I would need to get a generator of sorts because that way Lewis can do his daily rants. He could be outside and be like, "Hey, everybody, just want to tell you I have internet connection. I'm charging my camera using a solar power or something like that." And even though it hits a fan, you guys can still watch this YouTube video. So yeah, I think it's important. I recently got one of those paracord bracelets. And it has a compass on it and it has a fire starter on it. To be honest, I don't really know what to do with paracord, but I definitely want to look into it since I think it is something that I should know how to use it or what to use for it in case something happens. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. You're right. So DK says that when society is crumbled, ammunition is the most important currency. I do agree with that. I think that ammunition is very important. Um, and let's say this way, right? Let's give an example. Let's say if someone lived in a place and they were completely self-sufficient, right? Homesteading, right? They had a farm, they collected rainwater, tended to their crops, had chickens, goats, that kind of thing, pigs. Okay, let's just say chickens, right? Let's just say chickens. They had chickens and they had collected rainwater to water their plants. And then crap hits the roof, right? I think, and I know this sounds kind of paranoid, but I think that if there was a food shortage, depending on hard how hard hit the food shortage would be, people would say, "Crap, I'm hungry. Let me raid my grocery store." If the grocery store comes out empty, then they're gonna say, "Well, let me go over to my neighbors," right? Or they'll be like, "Hey, I knew my neighbor had a really nice garden. Let me go and ransack their plants or take their chickens," and that comes at a point where you would have to defend your land. Not that, I'm sure the person who's homesteading doesn't really want to defend their land, you just want to live a peaceful life. But if it in fact comes to that point, then I really do think that ammunition will be important. I hope it doesn't get to that point. I really hope so. But it's kind of one of those things at the back of my mind. Like all those people who have beautiful gardens, they have animals. It's just people can send over, let's say, a drone to look over aerial footage and say, "Hey, this person has a big ass garden with a big rainwater collection. Let's strike it." And not just one person. If you had like a team of 20 people go over a house, you aren't going to win. No way. Let's say even 3 people who are armed going against a swarm of 20 people, they're going to lose. For sure. For sure. So that's what one of those things. Like ultimately what I would like, and what I think would be nice, is living in a place where, see, this is the problem. Like I'm a city girl. You guys know that. I lived in Honolulu. Now I live in, New York. There's lots of people around us. I like the convenience of a city since, we're next to the subway. But the problem with this is that in case anything happens, you're very, very close to other people in case there's unrest of sorts. Or there's, yeah, people, it's easier for people to hit up their neighbors because they're just, yeah, let's say less than 20 feet away. It's very easy. And if there's swarms of people, it would not be a very, very good thing at all. But if you're a little bit more remote, you're hoping that you have acres of land between you and your neighbors. I don't think that's really, I don't know. It's hard for me to say because if you're still like, let's say if you're in like Malvern or Jersey, like yeah, it's a nice neighborhood, but don't underestimate in the event that something happens, people, it's not going to be like Stepford Wives at all anymore. It's not going to be clean and pristine. People are going to want to survive. So, yeah, that's my thinking. I hate the idea of having one of those perfectly manicured lawns. In fact, I think instead of having like a nice, beautiful, tended, short grass lawn, people should grow vegetables. People should grow vegetables. They should raise chickens. I'm not saying harvest their chickens, but have like two chickens as a pet. If you don't want to eat them and you just want to have them as a pet, have them as a pet. I had lovebirds over the years, and the only thing those birds that I've had laid was poop. Not a single egg. Yeah, my like South South was this big, okay? I got 0 eggs from that little male lovebird. And even if I did, his egg would only be like that big. If I had two chickens on the other hand, I might have actually had a couple, I might have had a good amount of eggs. So I would like to have chickens in the future. Not to eat, but to have them as pets and then collect their eggs. And 100% sure that I would be spending a good amount of care and attention on these chickens. Like, I would be babying the chickens. I would want to make sure that the chickens are kind of like treating the chicken like Oreo. Imagine that. And then when the chicken can't lay an egg anymore, then it can just go off into retirement, live out in pecking around or sleeping in the backyard or in the chicken coop until the end of its days. As yeah, just keep it as a pet. Yeah. Yeah, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Yeah. Aw. Yeah, I think chickens are really wonderful. There's a certain chicken that I want. It's called a silky chicken. Silky, Silkie. They are so sweet and they are so cute looking. They're puffy. But the thing is that, Chinese people, they love eating silky chicken because they think the skin of the chicken is dark. It's like a purple black color, and they think it has medicinal problems. Now, medicinal properties to it. I can't tell you for sure if it has medicinal properties or not. I've tried the chicken. It's yeah. I mean, it looks like it reminds me of like that Chinese forbidden wild rice. The purple rice. But for whatever reason, Chinese people like to eat that chicken if they're feeling under the weather. I understand it. But if I had some silky chickens, I would not want to eat it for sure. I would raise it and take care of it. And if it got sick, it would be going to the vet. So don't think that this would be done to save money. I honestly think that we will be losing more money having chickens than the cost savings. For sure. Aw. Yeah, I don't want to live in a homeowners association for sure. I've had experiences living in a homeowner condos with homeowners associations since I live in an apartment in Hawaii. Let's put it this way. You got people who are recommending doing improvements to aesthetic improvements to apartment, and weirdly enough or coincidentally enough, you also got these same people who are recommending these changes own their own companies. So it's like this, okay? Let's say if I was on the homeowners association board and I owned my own fencing company. And I said, "Hey, you apartment owners, we really should build an expensive fence around the property because security." And then you find out how much the brand is. Like, well, just think, I'm not making any money off of this stuff. I know it sounds expensive, but I assure you I'm not making any money off of this stuff. That's exactly what I see with this homeowners association crap. I hate it. Oh, Castle Wars. Oh, can you even get that bird in the US? I thought it wasn't. You can? Wait, Casawaris isn't that the one that freaking attacks you? Or am I imagining it something else? The bird that charges at you with its claws or something. Get an emu? Are you kidding me? That would be like an exotic. Yeah, cheese. Emu with the wrap sheet. Yeah, yeah. No, I don't want to have injuries from cassowary. I will pass on that for sure. Emus. Oh no. When I was younger, I wanted to have a. I actually thought about getting something like a German Shepherd or Doberman. I really like the look of Dobermans, actually. You know, some people they think Dobermans look very scary with their cropped ears. I like the look of a Doberman. However, I know myself very well. I would not be able to train a Doberman well for a security dog or I just think that because well, like look at Oreo for instance, right? Oreo's a lazy cat for sure. I think like some of these dogs they require a lot of training. They're active, and if they're not exercised well for whatever reason, then they have too much energy. So I would not want to have one of those. But I do like Dobermans a lot. I do like German Shepherds a lot. I like big dogs much better than small dogs. The thing about small dogs is I'm worried that like if I ever owned a small dog, I would accidentally kick it off the bed and then it would break a leg. Like it looks too fragile. So that's why you would never see me have like a teacup chihuahua or something like that. I'm just afraid like if I sleep and I roll over like accidentally, hurt the dog because it's so small. Yeah. Oh, Tibetan Mastiffs. Yeah, I think they dock. I think they crop the ears of a Doberman. Because the ears are kind of floppy, but then if you crop it, it's kind of more upright. You know, like the Batman kind of Doberman look to it. Those trained Dobermans are really expensive though. But I have a lot of respect for people who own Dobermans and they have them really well trained. Oh, what was that? What was that, Clinton? Aw, I love Yorkies. Yorkies are so cute. Yeah, so I need to clean up a bit. I got off the phone and I just wanted to tell you how my call with Verizon was. I know I haven't been streaming or doing anything past I feel like it's been yeah, like a couple days. Part of the reasons is Lewis was sick, so he was feeling under the weather. He was sniffling and he's feeling better now. I'm really happy about it. I've been giving him a lot of ginger tea, ginger, honey ginger tea, making sure he has a lot of hydration, up his vitamin C, things like that. For me, yesterday I had really bad cold. I was sneezing a lot. And yeah, my go-to for whenever I'm sick because I'm not a vegetarian is always drink chicken soup or beef bone broth soup. That seems to up that seems to work for me and it's very soothing for me. There's something that I really like about chicken soup and it helps me fight a cold much faster. So yesterday I started getting sick. Today I'm recovering better and I think it's just yeah, I ran out of soup, so I don't have any more soup. But I'm happy that I did have it because it warms up my soul, shall I say? Yeah, yeah. Cold. I don't know if it's cold season, allergy season. Who knows? It's hard to tell. Like, what's the difference between having like a really bad cold or having, the stuff that's floating around. I don't know. That's the other thing too. It's hard to say because I hear about people getting sick more often, but if you wake up and you're sneezing and you have a runny nose, does that automatically mean you have, you know what? Or does that mean you just have a cold or you just have allergies? Hard to say. Oh, how do you extract tea from ginger? So, Dora, you can buy ginger tea. They have like little packets of ginger tea. Actually, you know what? Let me pull it out for you guys. Let me grab some. So there are basically two ways of making ginger tea. One is you can buy ginger like this. What I do is I normally scrape off all the skin and then I cut it in thin slices and then I boil it in water for at least 15 minutes or so. And it has a strong gingery taste. The other thing you can do is you can buy a drink mix. So this is the drink mix that we had lying around. It's Prince of Peace, dark brown sugar, ginger honey crystal. So this is like kind of like instant coffee, but it's instant drink. And if you look over here, it has ginger, dark brown sugar, glucose, and honey. This is pretty sweet, but it's really convenient. And it mixes super easily. And then this is the other thing you could get, which is 100% ginger drink mix. This is from Trader Joe's. You can put this in hot water or you can put this in cold water. And what I did is I just put it in cold water. So just got tap water. No, put this inside of a cup, put tap water inside, and then I grabbed the fork and then just kind of mixed it around. Or you could use a spoon, but I tend to like using a fork for that stuff. Yeah, so that is how I did it. No, he hasn't lost his sense of taste or smell. He just sounds a little congested, but he's getting much better. So I think that he just got a bug of sorts. In case anybody was wondering, you know, we have been monitoring our blood oxygen levels as well. There's a little thumb thing. There's a little finger thing that goes on your finger. And then it measures how much your blood oxygen level is. His is like a 97 or so. Mine's is at like 99. So we've been checking on that. And so yeah, no, you put this in your water. So this is just like it's like a powder and then you just mix it you just mix it in a cup. So this doesn't have sugar in it. The other one had sugar. I just put it in plain water. No. I just boil the fresh sliced ginger in water and I put it in a pot. So it's like making soup with ginger, but just ginger. Just put a lot of ginger in there. I never use tea leaves in mine. I always just put straight ginger. But you can eat tea leaves if you want. Yeah, he doesn't like having to rest at all. He hates resting. But you guys know that, you know, he sounded a little congested. I think he did a stream yesterday and he sounded kind of stuffy. Yeah, so I will get going, you guys. I will talk to you guys later. I hope you guys stay healthy and safe. As I mentioned earlier, make sure you have some, you know, stock up on food. I'm not saying panic buy on food, but make sure that you do have some sort of food available for you in the event that you cannot access your local supermarket for a period of time. It's important. I don't think it's panic buying. I don't think it's due to paranoia, but if anything happens, right? You just know you're probably not going to be the first one in line, and I don't want to be in that situation where I need to go to a grocery store because we have no food in the house at all. Yeah. So, yeah. You guys take care. See ya.